see it's getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either stopped.
And not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed.
Free ride in the front of the field here. Look at Emil Tab up the inside for the race leaders. We head down to the first corner.
And these guys have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead. 54, 48 through 3 and 4. Working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali, power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill. This will be a great run for Fuller here.
Yes, if we go right off the track in the final quarter, that'll lap 4 to get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block there by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller toward turn 1, and Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2. Don't try here, boys. They're going to do it. Gritsko backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Gritsko going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall, and Sarah Testa hits him as well. And big damage on these cars. That's a huge.
Number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, trying to then run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of Brown.
James Houghton looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. A bit of a gap behind. I think that's about 15th or 16th spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide for this.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door, banging doors, fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
Indianapolis is fast approaching the megalith of the IndyCar in the Elite Series season. There's only 2 weeks before we'll take on the historic 2.5-mile oval, but for the 8th round of the season, we're going to tackle something a little bit shorter and a little bit more compact. This is Richmond Raceway, a 3/4-mile short track that's been around for decades. Today, it's claustrophobia, collisions, and the potential for carnage that occupies everyone's minds before heading home to Indianapolis in April. Kyle Heyer alongside Finney DeCuna for tonight's 8th round of the 2021 Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series. Finney, welcome back. Last time we had you was Detroit Belle Isle a few weeks ago. Now we take on the short track at Richmond Raceway, our first official short track of the season at Phoenix early on in the year, but now under a mile for the first time this year.
Yeah, looking forward to see these guys get underway. I mean, really only one of 2 real short tracks, this and Iowa, coming up later in the calendar. So looking forward to seeing that race as well. But here at Richmond, this place so small, so tight. These guys are going to be at very close quarters at a very high rate of speed, and that's always entertaining to see for IndyCars.
Qualifying is already underway on the left-hand side of the screen. Fastest laps, Christopher Demerit. Looks like he's back in regular form. He missed the race at Chicago last week. He won the first 3 rounds of the season only to tumble down to 7th in the point standing. So he would love to have a little bit of a rebound here tonight. Richmond, Virginia, population 230,000 people. This racetrack constructed back in 1946, one of the oldest on the oval racing schedules in the United States. This racetrack was originally named Strawberry Hill until the complex was purchased in 1999. So with Demerit Brophy at the front of the board right now, Matt Kingsbury is back, Trevor Greenfield, Aaron Roof, all working their way around the course. Robert Malechka, Andrew Wood, all yet to make their qualifying efforts. Only 14 drivers have made a qualifying lap so far. Finney, why do you think everyone's leaving this to chance and starting out back, you think?
I don't know. I'm not sure if guys are either. I think guys might be waiting to just put a qualifying time in. I'll be surprised if we see anyone try to just start from the back, especially if you feel you got some good speed. Because passing is, we'll be honest, passing is going to be kind of hard tonight. It's not going to be easy. It's not like Indianapolis where you can use the long straightaways, get a nice run down the straights and a run down into turn 3. It's a much different story. The straightaway is significantly shorter. It's a lot harder to get a run. And the wash these guys are going to be facing in these corners is going to be pretty difficult to overcome. You're going to have to hope that you tune your setup right in order to counteract, because that's going to be the big thing these guys are going to be dealing with as the night goes on.
Well, one thing that you haven't been here to note, Finian, just yet, is that Philip Kraus has actually switched teams to Team Talent. Teammates with Andreas Eich and others now, kind of changing up mid-season, something that we were a little bit surprised to see, Tom and I, last week. But Kraus has found some immediate success. Led the point standings going into Detroit, has tumbled down a little bit, but comes into the night with a rock-solid race car, goes to the top of the board, a 16.023, quickest lap so far. Adam Blocker in the 74. Almost won last week, was only off the winning margin by a little bit. There he is rolling off the apron now for his qualifying effort. He comes into the night third in the standings, picking up 3 spots, Finian, as he gets out on track.
Yeah, that is actually terrifying because I see that he has 2 less starts than everyone else around him. And the fact that he's overcome a 2-race deficit to be only 10 points behind is extremely terrifying, I'd imagine, for his teammate Andrew Kinsella and Andreas Eich up at the top of the standings. So that's definitely something we're looking out for. But I mean, it's not to be expected. Adam Blocker, former champion in the series, so man definitely knows how to get it done. We'll see if he can get it done in qualifying here as he rips around up until 11th at the moment.
Up to 11th on lap number 1. We'll see if he can go quicker on the second of his 2 laps. He'd need to beat a 16.023. That would require a 4/10 gain on this second lap to go even faster as he comes out of turn 4. Across the line, Blocker, 16.231 puts him 5th, so he will not go to the top of the board. Tony Schowen on track right now for his first qualifying lap of the night. Comes out at turn number 4. This is one of the tracks that got a recent update to the track surface properties. Finian, do you think we'll see maybe some highline running a little later tonight?
That's what I'm really interested in looking at. I saw some guys in practice. Looks like they were trying to run that high line. Not sure if by choice or just trying to test the water, see if it works. Really, I think the only time we're going to actually see if that works, and even for the drivers in the field, is in a race condition when everyone's running at their pace, trying to move up, make some passes happen. And with a big group of cars to see DiCenzo spin out of turn 2, hit the wall hard, I feel like we may see that more than once tonight. Yeah,
we've seen Indy Elite Series here before, and as I recall, it was a tough night for a lot of drivers. I'd expect to see the same, especially with the new damage model. That's been kind of the biggest thing in everyone's minds coming in, is how much attrition we've had in recent weeks. Thinking back to Detroit, where we had like 12 or 13 cars finished, even last week at Chicagoland, no cautions until deep in the race, and then all of a sudden we started, getting them at the end of every fuel run, and then they started picking up. We had a whole bunch near the end of the race and tore up a lot of race cars, so a lot of chance for carnage here tonight. 5th time IES has visited Richmond. Wood and Blocker have both won here before. Blocker again qualifying in 6th. Andrew Wood a little down the order just a little bit. Do I see him on the board? I'm looking.
In 9th.
P9, right next to Henry Bennett, who I was focused on right here. So, so we're going to have a pretty competitive field here tonight. Christopher Demeritte, though, desperately needs some positive momentum after falling down the order. Going back over his season so far, Finian, he started it off with first, 29th, and 1st at Homestead, Phoenix, Barber, and Texas in that order, then 28th at Pocono, 21st at Belle Isle, and did not qualify at Chicagoland. So he really needs to get back up on that horse.
Yeah, talk about coming in guns a-blazing, but yeah, as you mentioned, as you're talking about, for the championship, it's really one thing you need to have. You need to be fast, that's one thing. You also need to be consistent. And those last 3 weeks, especially not qualifying, it is not what you need for a championship run, but has a chance to rebound, at least start a rebound here as we're approaching the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, and looking ahead to the rest of the schedule, we've got some really good races coming up. We've got, in 2 weeks' time, the Indianapolis 500 here, the second ever Indianapolis 500 full-distance race here on Sim TV, followed up by a month-long break. All the month of May, we'll be focusing on real-world IndyCar before Road America in June. June 15th will be the National Park of Speed. Then Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course on June 27th, followed by Worldwide Technology Raceway on August 1st after a break in July. Kansas Speedway on 8/31, that's August 31st, 9/26. September 26th, Laguna Seca. October 3rd, Iowa. We'll finish things up on October 19th at Auto Club Speedway. Time now to head down to the racetrack here. Vinny, let's go over our keys to the race. And the first one, into the night. How is this track going to change from the daytime into the evening?
I mean, you would imagine that, as the sun starts to set, this track's going to get a lot more grippier as the track temp drops. But, I mean, it's already looking pretty cool, so it has a chance to drop down just a few more degrees to give these guys some extra grip. I think the big thing, though, is going to be this track rubbering up on that inside lane. Maybe start to see guys migrate to the middle, and especially that top lane, which, again, with that update, it has more grip for these guys to use.
Claustrophobia. This is tight confines here. Back at Phoenix in the early part of the season, had a couple crashes there because of how tight it was. We've come up from some pretty big tracks lately, and getting back used to the short tracks, Fitting, that's going to be hard, especially in such a short race. 160 laps from flag to flag under green flag only, 43 minutes of racing.
Yeah, and again, that's going to be the big thing if it's green flag all the way. You're going to have to be expecting maybe a bump or two in the road for some of you guys. And talk about the last one, consistency is key for these guys at this track. If we do get into a long run, you're going to find yourself probably stuck for position. So it's just a matter of, kind of managing the rhythm of the race, hitting your corners one after the other, and figuring out especially how to get a run on the guy ahead of you. And also, the big thing is not overstep your boundaries and make a mistake, because that wall will approach on you really fast.
And consistency is key not only in the race finish, but also the championship standings. Andreas Eich comes in leading the points by 7 over Andrew Kinsella. Andreas's positions this season, he's only had 2 finishes outside of the top 10 in 7 starts so far, the worst of which 27th at Chicagoland last week. Other than that, though, it was a 12th at Pocono, his first run. He is dangerous. And all those other finishes, other than the ones I mentioned, besides the 10th at Texas, 3rd place in 4 different races this season. He'd like to translate one of those into a win.
And also, I'm just taking a look here. Christopher Merritt, one driver that has a crew chief with him, and that guy is Brendan Lichtenberg, crew chief for the 144 tonight.
If there's a guy I want as a crew chief at a track like this, it's Brendan Lichtenberg. Remember back in the early seasons of the Coca-Cola Indy Elite Series here on Sim TV, Lichtenberg was massively successful at these short ovals. He really understands the short track dynamics and how these cars race, how they need to be set up. Even on this new tire, he's been very successful. So I think Lichtenberg is a good man to have behind the wall for Demerit, and obviously it's showing in their qualifying order here again, running in the front row for the start. But that 19 car is going to be rock solid as well, given the pole position he's got and his championship run early in the season, coming off of a championship last year. This 19 car is going to be a tough one to beat tonight, I think. So coming around to finish one more lap. There's a new livery on board the 25 car of Ray Kingsbury, and as Tom and I always say, cars that have flames on them are better than cars that don't have flames on them, and cars that shoot flames are definitely better than cars that don't.
Don't worry, the flames definitely give you an extra 25-50 horsepower, so we'll see if he can take advantage of that here on the start. It's qualified pretty decent, so we'll see if he can carry that on into the race.
Air temp 71 degrees Fahrenheit here tonight. Track temp 75. We'll likely see both of these things cool off as the clouds come over the speedway. Humidity a comfortable 50%, just a gentle breeze of 7 miles an hour out of the southeast. It's a beautiful night for racing here in the virtual Richmond, Virginia. Cars getting ready to go racing on the inside line. It's that 19 car of Philip Kraus, new driver here at Team Talent. And he is on the pole for 160 laps worth of racing at Richmond Raceway. Time to go green for round number 8 of the 2021 season. Green flag flies, and we're racing in the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series off into turn 1. Kraus leads the way. Oh, Demerit high in turns 3 and 4. Is he in the fence? I think he might have hit the wall there, Finney, but already a disastrous start for Demerit. He tumbles down the order.
Yeah, he actually got loose in turn 3, just missed kissing the wall in 3 and 4, so that car still perfectly fine. That being said, he's probably heated up the rear tires and also probably a little bit shaken behind the wheel.
Henry Bennett way high in turns 3 and 4. Trouble, there's a crash. It's Eric Gonzalez around. He's going to get hammered in turn 4 by Dakota DiCienzo, and the caution flies. And that's big damage for both DiCienzo and for Eric Gonzalez. And an early caution flag for trouble in turns 3 and 4. We saw this coming. Let's have a look. Oh, he might have had some help going off into the corner.
Yeah, I'm hearing something maybe about hardware failure. I'm trying to figure that out.
On the inside, who's the silver car? That's the 24 car of Tanner Watkins. There must have been a touch. And then, of course, Dakota DiCienzo, nowhere for him to go. Right on board with the 43. Oh. I think what you're going to see here, if we go back and watch this a little slower, I think what you're going to see is Tanner Watkins goes off into turn number 3 right underneath Gonzalez here, and I think they're going to have a little bit of contact, potentially some netcode involved here, and we've seen how fragile these suspensions, you can see that car buffer right there. The suspension broke on the back of that car, Finney, and that's why he got turned around. Here, have another look.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just for a split second, right there, and then around he went.
And the car backs into the barrier, and he tried to get it woed down and then just comes back across the racetrack. And this is where DiCienzo can't go anywhere, slams into the nose, and both those cars will be out early here at Richmond. So our first caution out on lap number 3 as Philip Kraus leads the way. He shot out of a cannon on that start. Christopher Demerit will get a chance to warm those tires up a little bit better. I think he got caught off guard, and he had a big moment but didn't bend the car, and he'll be back in 6th now for the restart.
Yeah, I think, just cold tires just probably threw the car in there a lot harder than he would have liked. Maybe had the car set up the wrong way, maybe with the ARBs and also with the weight jacker. Might have had it put a little bit too aggressively on the start. That's another thing that if you're not careful and you don't have it set right, back end will come on you very quickly.
So over the course of the race, I'm imagining that drivers will probably be adjusting weight jacker over the course of the night as the track cools off to sort of help the handling and balance. But how much of that do you do in traffic versus when you're out front, and how much does the balance change, and does it generally trend towards understeer when you're following?
Yeah, so typically what you want to do, you want to start putting the weight jacker up, if you're in traffic, and you just add a few clicks in there, and you have to be very careful. The old tire model, you're able to go up to plus 20, and the car actually wouldn't still spin out of you on certain tracks. Now you can put it up to plus 7, and it can easily loop around on you. So it's you have to be a lot more careful with it and make very fine adjustments and kind of feel the car out. When you're up in front, though, it's kind of better to just keep it as neutral as possible. Adding more will definitely help because obviously you're making a bunch of left-hand turns, but if you put it up too much, you're just basically wearing out your right rear. So you want to be careful not use too much weight jacker, otherwise you're going to just wear out the right rear and you're going to go around sooner rather than later.
1 to green, lights are off atop the pace car. Philip Kraus is your race leader. He's led every lap so far, all 6 that we've completed. Ray Kingsbury right behind him. Andreas Eich in his position that he's been trying to fight to get out of all year long, and that is 3rd place. It's still early in the night. He's got a chance to get out of it, but he has been stuck there eternally, it feels like. Hasn't been able to get a victory so far, but is the points leader. And in a good place to defend that if he keeps running like this. But as pace car pulls off, Kraus in command. Lap number 8, we'll try this again. And a slow restart for the 19. There it is. Green flag back in the air from Richmond. A bit of a stack up to Merritt. Almost runs in the back of Brian Carey. A couple others. Joe Branch diving out of line. That leaves Jason Brophy an opportunity to sneak up the outside.
These guys are going to take as many positions as they can get. As we mentioned, passing going to be tough as Joe Branch not able to get the pass done or maybe passed by Brophy.
Now, Wood's going to sling that outside groove, which again, I think we're going to see develop over the course of this race. I wouldn't expect it to be super good right out of the gate, but Wood is already finding speed up there and gets by the 28 car. Bobble for Demerit off corner exit. Now he's going to get to the inside of Brian Carey. This is the battle for 5th. That 144 trying to move back forward.
Yeah, this is really good. Where these guys are going to figure out can the multi-grooves work, can the outside lane work, can even the middle lane work around here, especially stuck in traffic. There you can see working on the outside, able to get the pass done.
Brophy going to charge up into 6th, and here comes Andrew Wood around the outside as well. The upper groove already looking stronger. This is something that we saw at Chicagoland as well, is that upper groove really being strong in the early stages of the race in a way that we didn't expect, but Demerit already learning the bottom, at least for that car, is a no-go.
Yeah, this is something that stock car drivers are talking about. That outside lane is pretty OP at the moment. And so I think we're starting to see the Indy cars is starting to translate over as well. These guys able to really get a great run out of the corner, something that inside lane just cannot beat.
Ray Kingsbury's gotten by Philip Kraus for that top spot. 3/10 now between them as Brian Carey fights off the 88 of Jason Brophy side by side behind him as Andrew Wood and Demerit. See Demerit really struggling with the center rotation on that car, and he's going to drop back in behind Wood. Caution. Tony Showen in the 31 is crashed hard at the exit of turn 2. That car is junk.
And for the looks of it, looks like it was by himself. Oh, actually, no, it was not. Had a little bit of help.
Oh, David Adams got into the back of him. Turn him. Wow, that's a big hit there at the exit of turn number 2. And again, the tight quarters, you don't have a lot of wiggle room here, and I think David Adams gets in here a little bit hot, and Showen might have overslowed just a touch, but look how fast that car comes around. Debris scattering into the fencing.
Yeah, I think when they enter the corner, I think Adams was expecting Showen to go in just a little bit faster. There was a split second for him to realize there was a difference and just not enough time to react.
Grinding to a halt, sitting on the floor. And this is one of those crashes that in the past you might have gotten away with. It would have damaged your car, but you could have continued. With this new damage model, Finney, and that car's done. And we're already down 3 in the first 15 laps of this one.
Yeah, it's really a thing where these drivers, you need to respect the car now. You can't just, get a little bit of wheel damage, hope they bang the suspension back in place and then, all is merry and good. If you do end up hitting the wall, and let's face it, these guys are running around here, they're going to hit the wall pretty hard. It's going to knock one of your wheels loose. That's it. That's your race over. So it's one of those things where you have to be very careful, as we got some pit stops down on the back half of the field, everyone from 17th. Making the trip on down.
There's Malechka, Matt Kingsbury, Aaron Roofs, Andrew Kinsella, Trevor Greenfield, Evan Adams, AJ Burton, and more. Dan Ench, Alex Ball, AJ Musselman also coming on down. Maybe a little bit early for tires in my opinion, but maybe it's not a bad idea, because at some point we typically see races go one of two ways, where they go green for a long time and then you get caution after caution at the end of the race, or you have a race like today where you get a bunch of cautions right at the beginning, a flurry of yellows, and then it clears up and you run green for the rest of the day. I think those guys are banking on that and having an advantage for the long run.
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys in the back, it's one of those situations where you might as well make a pit stop. You're not really going to lose a whole lot, maybe position here or there. And again, with much of the race left to go, over 140 laps, you can still make those up very easily. And I think there's also a chance just to kind of see how the car is handling, being stuck in traffic for a few laps, maybe kind of gauge how the right sides are doing as well with the settings you have for your in-car adjustments.
So rolling out of turn number 4, we should get the one to green next time by. Ray Kingsbury got by Philip Kraus on that restart. We'll see if he can defend now. So we'll get actually 2 to green this time. We've got a couple cars a lap down. No cars that are rolling our lap down. It's just Shawan, DiCienzo, and Gonzalez who are out and done. And the 144 Demerit, I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't come to pit lane. Seems like he's struggling so far. Is he doing something wrong, or is the car just set up for a line that he's not running?
It could be that. Again, I'm not sure if that was just, on the initial start, he just got caught out by, if expecting the car to grip up, or just ran it in a slightly different line than he was used to. But yeah, his restart haven't been quite to his liking, apparently. So we haven't got a long enough run for him to get back, but he's going to have to start moving back in the right direction to make up that lost ground, because after starting from 2nd back to 8th and only a few laps under green, that's a tough pill to swallow, but now it's a matter of making that back up over the course of the race.
Ray Kingsbury behind the safety car as the lights will go out for the 2nd time tonight. And now we'll see if Kingsbury can parlay this into a really strong run tonight. Looking at the standings this year, certainly can't be disappointed. He's 5th. His best finish of the season was a 2nd back at Barber, 2 8th places, and a 7th at Pocono. Other than that, it's been a 23rd at Homestead, a 15th at Texas, and a 16th at Chicagoland. So he's had a pretty decent season so far, and looking to capitalize on it with a strong run here tonight. So far this evening, he has led 10 laps since that last green flag run. He's going to try to lead some more this time through. Lap 19 will be our restart. Kraus in 2nd, Andreas Ike 3rd, Blocker and Carey the rest of the top 5. Here we go. Henry Bennett beside Joe Branch out of turn 4. Branch goes around, takes the spot. Here's Riley Thompson in 11th, followed by Liam Quinn in the purple and white car. That's real tight quarters through 1 and 2. They're playing with inches as they come off the corner. Thompson going to give that spot up for now to Liam Quinn.
Yep. Sounds like Richmond with that. These guys playing close quarters with one another, just inches away. And if you miscalculate, as you've seen already, you're going to be involved on wreck. You're going to be done for the day. Further up, still see Jason Brophy trying to rip the high line, trying to get to Brian Carey, and Adam Blocker on the start. Still trying to work on Andreas Ike for that 3rd place spot.
I think Riley Thompson gave that spot to Quinn in fear that he might get turned around. That was so tight in the mirrors. I'm sure he felt a little bit of pressure there and to give up that spot. Up the road, there's Adam Blocker closing in on Andreas Ike, and Christopher Demerit popped out of line in the back run for Andrew Wood. I'm not sure that he's going to get to pull alongside. He's certainly got drive off, though. That time was a little closer to pulling up even.
Yeah, Andreas Ike actually looking pretty slow at the moment in comparison. The top 2 have already broken away. You can see the gap develop after only 3 laps under green. Blocker, I think, trying to get past Ike as soon as possible. We're running right in behind. Can't really make anything happen.
There's Jason Brophy to the underside of Brian Carey. That's for 5th. Carey's going to rip the high line, and here comes Andrew Wood to fill the gap in the upper groove, and he was going to drive by Jason Brophy. So already we've seen this upper groove be very solid for making passes, but you can do it on the bottom as well if your car is set up for it. I'm not sure that these drivers have had a lot of laps around here in traffic. We did see drivers have upwards of 200 laps in practice, Finian, so that's not like they weren't trying, but when you're racing in a pack of cars, it's totally different.
Yeah, you need to have this car set up for many different situations, being stuck in traffic, trying different lines, and also trying different settings in the in-car, because with the open setup, these guys have a lot of tools to play with. We have to make sure those tools align. And for Brophy, I was watching his car when he went down on the inside lane. It was looking a little bit twitchy in 1 and 2. You can see he's actually just sticking to the outside lane, trying to defend from Demerit. Looks like he's going to get it done off before this time by.
Has a spot for now, a little deeper in the field. There's David Adams and Tanner Watkins. Both of these drivers have had cars spin off their noses tonight, running 13th and 14th right behind Riley Thompson. Bit of a gap back to Charles Ante in the 86, then Matt Kingsbury in the 21. Malechka, Rorschach, Kinsella, Greenfield, and more have already come down to pit lane for a set of tires.
Yeah, and at the moment, that's not going to give you a super advantage for the guys that pit. Again, we only had about 5 to 7 laps under green, but definitely something. Put yourself in a slightly better position. Potentially later on in the run, they can run just a little bit longer on fuel.
So the other thing that we should mention is this grip change to Richmond Raceway and other tracks here in iRacing. This has sort of changed the dynamics of these cars on short ovals, because usually it's going to be a one-lane racetrack, and you can't pass in a one-lane racetrack in an Indy car. So this opens up the opportunities a little bit and kind of negates the effect of Aero wash, but also it does seem like that upper group is the preferred one, and if you get up there, you can defend most of the night.
Yeah, and even the middle lane's at play as well, so you definitely have a lot more options for these guys available to them, which I'm sure they're definitely happy about, no longer having to be stuck. Single file. I remember that's exactly how I won a Richmond race. I had everyone else behind me pit. I decided to stay up and just let everyone else just eat my air wash, and pretty much ended up winning the race like that. But that's no longer the situation here. See Demerit trying to work that inside lane. The inside's been tough to work, but he's got a decent run at the moment. Oh, that's a car that's broken. It's Evan Adams in the 59.
Yeah, Evan Adams, he's gotten into the fence. He's going to pull that car into the box. Now the question is, can that car be repaired?
Nope.
It looks like he's going to be done for the day, most likely. As we go back to that Demerit and Brophy battle, it's been heating up, and now it looks like it's boiling over with that 144 on the inside road.
There's a lap car up ahead. I think Demerit's going to have to go. You see him pulling back in behind Brophy. There's that lap car on the inside lane. Not sure who that is. That is Musselman in the 54 car.
Drops a lap down. So does Alex Ball. David Adams, Tanner Watkins, they were side by side momentarily, but Adams hangs on to the spot for now for 13th place. And these laps tick off mighty quick, only 17 seconds a lap. Ray Kingsbury clicking him away. 7/10 of a second out in front of Philip Kraus for that new team. And Andreas Eick stuck eternally in third with Adam Blocker behind him. His first win came at Detroit a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm still really amazed at how far Andreas Eick has fallen off. 3.4 seconds from the back of the 19. And, you know, typically you fall off the bubble, really, the magic Aero bubble for these cars is about 5 to 8 tenths of a second to see Demerit working the inside yet again. He's actually been pretty successful. Ooh, might have it done. Not going to be able to slide up in front of Brophy out of 2, though.
He's been
trucking.
And now into turn 1. These guys got to be getting sick of each other at this point. This has got to be frustrating for Demerit, though. I mean, coming into the season, as the caution flies, hold that thought, it's Henry Bennett, the 007. He's around in turns 1 and 2.
Oh, let's see, does that car have damage?
Oh, it definitely has damage. It looks like he's going to be done. Remember, he crashed back at Phoenix as well, involved with the race leader at the time. It was Philip Kraus. Does he have help? Oh, yeah, Liam Quinn turns him around.
Talked about close quarters with these guys. He was Liam Quinn right up in behind Bennett.
And Quinn was the one that made me nervous earlier behind Riley Thompson. Looks like he just miscalculated a touch. In behind Bennett. And just drives in and takes him out. Altman in, I think, the 44. We'll have to look back at that one and think that's an opportunity to make a different choice next time. A little bit too deep there in the corner. As looks like everybody's going to hit pit lane except for Christopher Demerit. Now, this is a call I'm not sure I agree with.
Yeah, I think maybe he just figures just get the car out in front in clean air. This would be a good chance to see if the tires are worth it. They had a decent amount of running. Again, nothing too terribly significant. But when you're that car in clean air, and if you do feel your car is fast enough, which I would say for the 144 should be the case, we'll see if he's going to be able to hold on to that lead. As it also looks like Kinsella following a similar line of thought. He came in under the last caution, the 14, And so he's only run 25 laps on his tires.
Yeah, and Kinsella finished second at Chicagoland last week. He has 2 seconds so far this season, but hasn't yet won a race. He's second in the point standings by 7 points behind Andreas Ike. So that 14 car has been really consistent and has been really fast. Due for a race win for sure. This strategy, again, 26 laps on your tires isn't a ton, but this is the point in the race where I probably would have come, except Kinsella's already come twice already. So this is when managing your race comes into play, and I think of the top 3, I think Kingsbury, with this strategy, staying out until now, is sort of the way to roll here.
Yeah, I mean, came in, it jumped from 18th to 2nd, and I imagine running the same setup or similar setup to his teammate in the 74. So I would imagine that's a pretty quick car. Those cars have usually been quick at adrenaline. So I would expect to see him up close to the front of the field just on pure pace. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold on to it in behind the 144. And I'm really curious, guys like Ray Kingsbury, Kraus have been enjoying some relatively clean air for the last 40 or so laps. They're going to have some dirty air to deal with and some passing to get done. We'll see if they can make those fresh tires work.
Yeah, so Demerit, Kinsella, Kingsbury, Kraus, and Ike are your top 5. Ike did beat Adam Blocker off of pit lane, if just by a foot. Then Andrew Wood 7th, Brian Carey, Jason Brophy, and Joe Branch. Now, Jason Brophy is an interesting one. He got taken out late in the going last week at Chicagoland. He was in position to basically make up a huge deficit that he had, where he found himself a lap or 2 down after a caution sequence. He fought his way back and then ended up having issues way late in the race. Tonight, he has started 7th. He's climbed forward, but for all the noise he's made on an outside groove, he hasn't actually found his way that far forward. So while it might look like he's going faster, I'm not sure that he is.
Yeah, I don't know. His car does not seem up to spec in comparison to Demerit. Demerit's car looked a lot more comfortable no matter where you put it. Brophy was decent on the outside lane, but as you mentioned, just not quite able to carry enough speed in comparison to some of the cars around him. And then the inside lane, that car is definitely looking a lot twitchy down there. So he's really only been able to be comfortable in the middle to top lane in comparison to, guys like Demerit, who he's directly running with. So we'll see what he can do, if he can maybe gain something on this run, maybe figure out a way to move forward here as we got the one green.
So Christopher Demerit back where roughly where he started. Again, he started this race in 2nd. Looked like he had really good short run pace, but as soon as the green flag dropped on the initial lap, he had a big moment in turns 3 and 4, dropped all the way back to 8th. Now staying out under this caution flag. He is still yet to hit pit lane. And banking on maybe another short-term caution, green flag back in the air, and Demerit fires off well.
Kingsbury wasting no time trying to throw it up.
Oh, trouble behind him.
Here.
Crash. Brian Carey and Jason Brophy.
Just as we were talking about him, wrecked out at turn 2. Curious which one of these two started it.
Brophy was right up the tailpipes of Brian Carey. And, Carey just gets loose, turns down, and they both get collected into the crash. Not really anything Brophy did wrong there, just wrong place, wrong time, gets collected in Carey's spin. He just goes down, turns in the car too strong, and then loops it, and Brophy's going to just drive right into him. Nothing that he could have done. Man. Attrition rate is climbing. We're down to about 21 cars that haven't had a major incident here tonight, and Brophy's car is done. So will Brian Carey's. And this is what we've been fighting all season. This new damage model has been ruthless and relentless. But we're not going to have any cars left at this rate. I mean, Demerit's out front leading this thing, but the carnage will continue to climb itself back forward. Looking back at our keys to the race, so far, claustrophobia and and the carnage it brings have been kind of on the playlist so far this evening.
Yeah, it shouldn't say too terribly surprising when you put really fast cars at such a small track. Things are bound to happen. So, and bad things are bound to happen for some drivers, and unfortunately, it's really unfortunate for Brophy because it's looking, again, just if not too terribly fast, as a solid top 10 car. Unfortunately, just taking out on that, nothing he could have done better.
No, it just wrong place, wrong time. Just like last week, he got kind of run up into the fence in the closing moments of Chicagoland, even though he had spent most of his night clawing his way back. So Demerit leads the way, leads some more laps as we make our way under our next caution of the evening. Checking back in with some other drivers we haven't talked about a whole lot yet tonight. Go back and talk about Trevor Greenfield, a new entry to the series running for the Spark VR team.
I assume filling the hole that Kraus left?
Yeah, I think he started as an independent driver. He's since joined Spark VR, so yes, it seems reasonable that that's what happened. Looking at his season so far, he has started 3 races. He has not finished in the top 10 in any of them. He's run better than he's finished, though. 26th at Texas, a 16th at Belle Isle, and a 22nd at Chicago, and running 15th right now. So he would actually his best finish of the season if he could finish right here, right now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be hoping to go further. I mean, I think he might also just be hoping on more attrition, just slowly will make his way up through the order. Kind of similar to what happened at Belle Isle.
Matt Kingsbury in the 21. Slipstream on the side of that car. Nice gold livery on this machine.
Oh, he switched teams?
Yes, so a lot of teams moving around here, but Matt Kingsbury has not had the season that his brother has had. Ray, again, 5th in the standings coming into the night. Matt, though, 34th, 31st, 26th, 19th, 22nd, 33rd, and 20th. So it has been a tough season for Matt Kingsbury. And remember, at Homestead, he only had 1 lap complete involved in that race opening crash. Hasn't led a single lap this season. This is just not the direction I think Matt wanted to go, especially with his teammate, or I should say his brother, been putting on the show that he has with his finishes this year.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to see how much he's struggled, because I know from the past he's a pretty solid driver, and yeah, just have a really poor start to the season. That's pretty unfortunate for him. I'm not exactly sure, because again, I haven't been exactly following if those have been to his own, of his own volition, or just bad luck, but unfortunately either way.
Coming to the green, here are the downshifts in the race leader as we go on by. Christopher Merritt still leading, has not yet pit. He's the only driver that hasn't come to pit lane just yet. 48 laps on those tires and that fuel tank. Andrew Kinsella, 34 laps on his tires, 10 laps for everybody else. As we come back to the green, back in the air again, lap 49. Whoa, Ray Kingsbury, big moment out of turn 2. Taking a swipe at Andrew Kinsella. Can't go anywhere, though. He's got better tires, and I don't think it'll take him too long to get that job done. Meanwhile, there's Tanner Watkins on the inside of David Adams in the 0-0 car.
The big thing is those new tires are going to need a little bit of heat in them before they can start going. Give it a lap or 2 to get that done. Ooh, a little bit of a wobble for Kingsbury as you look at Wood and Blocker side by side. Oh, Ray Kingsbury in the wall off of 4.
Now, how hard did he hit it is the question.
It looked like a little bit of a kiss, but I'm not sure how the right side is doing.
Oh, yeah, he might have been okay. Nothing broke off the car, so he should be all right. As meanwhile, here comes Andrew Kinsella, or I should say Philip Kraus on Andrew Kinsella, completes that pass for second. Whoa, wow, to Merritt cutting it close with the fence at the exit of 2. Meanwhile, Joe Branch and Riley Thompson side by side for 8th.
So Kingsbury's starting to fall back. I think something's kind of hurting. I imagine the suspension's bopped just a little bit, hurting the handling of that car. Ike moving his way on past, and here comes Wood on the inside. Whoa, Kingsbury almost got loose into Wood.
Kingsbury on the outside, Blocker on the inside. Ray completes the pass and drops into 6th. Andreas Ike trying to run down Andrew Kinsella in 3rd on those older tires. But Christopher Merritt pretty well clear, 1.3 seconds up the road of Philip Kraus. Kraus is trying to hunt him down, was a little quicker last time by. Here is David Adams and Robert Mleczka. Mleczka on the right behind them in the red and white car, and 0-0 is actually side by side with the 44 of Quinn.
So up ahead, Andreas Ike working to the inside of Kinsella. Kinsella's still working that top side. Wood trying to follow in behind. 3-way battle for 3rd place.
On board with Andrew Wood. Started this race back in 9th, up to 5th now. Downshifts down to 4th gear, kind of running in between the 2 cars in front just to get some air on the nose, and he's coming with a head of steam.
Problem for him is there's no place to go. Theoretically, you could make it 3 wide, but you're an absolute madman to do that.
Ike's still working the bottom, but he's not able to stay alongside the 14, and now Wood's going to go the long way around and try to grab 4th from Ike. Ike will stomp on the brakes and tuck back in line as the 64 crosses over and under the 14 of Andrew Kinsella.
Yeah, Wood trying to get a good run off the corner, use the momentum down into turn 1, couldn't quite get it done. He's going to have another look who can sell the car, stepping out just a little bit in the rear. That might be enough for Wood. Going to slide up out of turn 4, clear the spot for now.
Wood up to P3, no change in the gap for the race leader. Look at Ray Kingsbury, charges to the bottom, but doesn't have the grip to stay there and slides up hard at the exit of turn 2.
I think he's still trying to figure out the car. I can't imagine the car's handling as low as it was before he made contact with the wall, but I think he might have gotten it now, and he's trying to move forward.
Kinsella continues to drop backward, now down to 4th, and Andreas Eich, he's got unfinished business with this seafoam green car, as so does Ray Kingsbury and others behind him. I think they are waiting for that 14 car to stack up the field a little bit and take a bite out of the prey here.
Trying to make it work on the bottom lane, trying to follow exactly what Wood did. Just a few laps ago, here comes Blocker also having a look down on the inside. That car glued to the yellow line.
And Blocker is going to get through Ray Kingsbury for 6th, as Ike and Kinsella continue to scrap for P4.
Man, I was just watching Blocker. That car is absolutely hooked on the inside lane. I've seen a lot of guys, car kind of bobbles and weaves a little bit down there, but Blocker's car is absolutely glued and able to carry a lot of speed. You can see he's able to get the job done with relative ease.
They're right to the bottom, down to 3rd gear in the corners, which is lower than I think most people are dropping. Usually you're in 4th, but down to 3rd gear all the way for the 74 car. Caution.
Caution out.
It's time for Liam Quinn, and looks like, is that the 36 of Trevor Greenfield? I think Tanner Watkins also involved.
Oh, and Tanner Watkins, I think he's done that right. The left rear, sorry, is bobbling.
Oh, yep, he checked up to not run into the back of Joe Branch. Oh man, Greenfield almost. I think he just locked up trying to miss everything, but I think it was mostly Watkins and Liam Quinn that got together. Going back a little farther. Watkins checks up right here, not to get in the back of Joe Branch, and that's where Liam Quinn kind of drives into the back of him, turns him around.
Yeah, also take a look at the 91, though. Red car that is whipped by on the outside lane. He got awfully close to Liam Quinn spinning.
Here it is at the exit of turn 4. Whoop, ran over a piece of debris.
Oh, actually, yeah, that damage is actually permanent. He actually came to the pits. He's going to have to retire. I thought that was one of those, you know, close miss moments where, you know, the sim thinks you hit, but he didn't actually hit, but he did actually make contact, so he's out for the race.
Well, that is unfortunate, to say the least. And Lechka done in the Husky Chocolate car. And add to the list of cars that are damaged beyond repair. 21st all the way down to 29th. Eric Gonzalez out and done.
Ooh, Christopher Demerit down in pit road to make his stop. Philip Kraus and in fact the entire top 6 all staying out. I was just about to say if he didn't pit, that car was looking pretty good. Kraus is not able to catch up to him. He was behind by 1.3 seconds back to Demerit.
I mean, it was an interesting strategy call. I'm just surprised. I mean, I guess now you got to come down for fuel, but I mean, lesson learned. If you've got track position, it sticks. Now, I think you got to be the leader. We didn't see Kinsella stick quite so well, but if you've got the lead, you might as well do that.
Yeah, I think you do need to have a good car underneath you. I think for Kinsella, it looks like he's just struggling in general. Wasn't quite able to keep up with pace in comparison to some of the others. I mean, he only dropped back a few spots, and he went from 18th to 2nd, and is currently running in 8th. So I mean, that call completely worked out for him, no matter what way you put it. The track position from the very back of the field is very much worth it if you have a car that could somewhat stick. So, but for Demerit, that is a fast car we're looking at here, and now he's got fresh tires. He's the highest of the drivers that came in for fresh tires. So, see if you can make some work with it. Ran about 25 laps under green. See if you can use that car to work back up to the front.
Philip Kraus, believe it or not, has only led 10 laps this race for as much as he's felt like he's been up front. Most laps led, I believe, actually belongs to someone else. And if we go back,
I think Kingsbury,
Ray Kingsbury has led 31, and Demerit has led, excuse me, 26. So awful tight between those two. Well, it's been a calamitous one so far, to say the least. We head to Indianapolis in 2 weeks' time, and that's a 500-mile race. Now, remember last year, the Indy 500, the big wreck, I believe it was lap, we had one at lap 5, then another one at lap 26 that took out the majority of the grid. With the run-up to the Indy 500 this season, everyone has learned that crashes are so much more consequential. Do you think that's going to impact how they race on April 11th for that 500-mile race?
I mean, I would hope so. Again, considering the fact that, you can't just pick up, tap the wall just a little bit after running a little bit too hard, maybe fix it, although even any kind of wall contact, even before the new damage model was implemented, would just completely ruin your car pace-wise. I would imagine these guys want to take it easier considering the race distance that's ahead. So I have to see. You want to say that everyone's going to take it nice and easy and pace themselves, but you put that helmet on and you become a different person, a different animal altogether. So I'll have to see if these guys are going to be a little bit more cautious, a little more patient putting around again. Because 200 laps, obviously, it's a very long race, especially for sim races that typically run slightly shorter distances.
Yeah, this whole race could have completed in 42 minutes if it had gone green from flag to flag. If we go green from here to the end, 25 minutes on par, on tap here. Lap number 70, Richmond. Green flag again. Philip Kraus, the race leader.
And just shy of halfway as well. One not too good of a start is already under attack from Andreas Eichmann. You talk about him not trying to finish in third. He's been very comfortable in that spot tonight.
We have a stack up behind Joe Branch, and it's because Christopher Demerit has caught him. Now we'll see 5-lap old tires versus 32-lap old tires, what those will do for you. Here comes that 144. But right now, it seems like he wants that bottom groove, and the 28 car is in his way.
Yeah, should this run continue, I think that's definitely going to be the car to watch here. The field spreads out a little bit more. Might be able to just kind of pick them off one by one. We'll see what he can do in behind Branch. It kind of looks like his car is just not too terribly good in traffic in comparison to being out in the front of the field.
Tanner Watkins had a big spin a moment ago at the exit of turn 2. We stay green, but it looks like that car will also add it to the list of the ones that will go home in pieces. There's Matt Kingsbury in the 21 car up to 10th after starting in 21st, right behind Ray.
Make a pass on the other Kingsbury driver here, trying to use Kinsella as a pick here, keep him stuck on the top side. He's actually just going to let him on by.
Whoa, he dove in there deep too and almost got in the back of Kinsella. Kind of bobbled up on corner exit, and the 14 car will drive away for a moment. Field getting some legs to stretch out just a touch. Here's behind Aaron Roofs in the 26. It's AJ Burton, Charles Ante. The orange and black. Whoa, big slide out to the inside at the exit of turn 2. Now down the bottom in turn 3 and 4. Burton, again, typically excels on the larger ovals for Team I5G. Runs down in 15th right now after starting this race back in 27th.
Yeah, curious to ask him how he's been doing this season so far.
Well, we've seen quite a bit of him up front. Finishing races has been more of the challenge for AJ. 25th in the point standings. 5th back at Texas, but other than that, no finishes inside the top 10. Closest to it, a 14th at Belle Isle and a 23rd at Chicagoland last week. But again, running better in the race than he finishes, but that's true for most people in the field, it seems like, each week. Out front, Philip Kraus leads by almost a full second over Andrew Wood.
Oh, and also in behind, Blocky, just a lap or two ago, is finally able to get past Andreas Eich.
They snuck that by us, but at the halfway point, which will not be this lap, but next, Philip Kraus will lead the way. And coming off of a championship season last year, we're sort of expecting Philip Kraus to be the one to beat, and it's not like he hasn't. He's 4th in the standings and has had a good season and a win back at Pocono, but I expect him to be a little bit more dominant. I think the rest of the field is caught up. We've had a very competitive season. Looking back at our different winners so far, Demerit won 3 of them, but other than that, it's been Crane, Kraus, Blocker, Pavelski. 4 different winners. Well, actually, with Demerit make that 5 in the first 7 races. So we've had quite a diverse field, and I don't think there's any one team that's massively dominant, especially once that 144 started getting beat.
Yeah, we're still looking at Demerit hasn't really gone anywhere this run, so the traffic definitely seems to be the struggle for the 144. I think it makes sense of why he actually just let Matt Kingsbury on by. So I think we definitely saw why the kind of thought process of him trying to just put that car up in front. And I think should he be given another chance, I think we'll try to get that car up back in front should another caution come out.
Here's Riley Thompson, relatively new entrant to the Indy Elite Series. Best finish this season, 4th at Texas, finished 7th at Belle Isle. Other than that, though, it's been 14th, 29th, and 18th, so he's been a little bit all over the board. but the pace hasn't been much of a problem for him. But he does now have Matt Kingsbury that would like to knock him outside of the top 5.
Yeah, I'm too terribly surprised with that. Riley Thompson, a fairly quick driver who's going to struggle a bit out of turn 2. Here comes Kingsbury, going to have a look up the inside.
I think the exciting races for Riley Thompson are yet to have happened. I think Road America is clearly a favorite for him, I'm sure. And you could also add Mid-Ohio is a track that I would expect Riley Thompson to be very good. I have been told that Christopher Demerit is saving fuel, and saving fuel quite hard. Now, and is that the hope to make it to the end on one more stop or on this stop alone? Not sure, but we'll see how this pans out for the 144.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense of what we're seeing. I was even if that car was starting a bit surprised, see him really kind of start to drop off now. And so what he's probably doing is these guys do have fuel maps available to them to adjust. So probably just went to a slightly different fuel map where you can reduce the engine power, save a little bit more gas. And I think that's what he's trying to opt to do at the moment. He's got a little bit of a gap back up to Joe Branch.
Yeah, a bit of a green flag run now that we've gotten past a flurry of yellow flags in the opening stages of this 160-lap race here at Richmond. Philip Kraus leads the way. It's 1.1 back to Andrew Wood, who's having a very solid night. Adam Blocker, winner from Detroit Belle Isle, back in 3rd. And he's also, I believe, the most recent winner at Road America, which is coming up in June as well. So that's got to be one he's got circled on his calendar.
Yeah, really looking for, really be interesting to see if he can perform well there. I'm also surprised too the way these guys have been catching lap cars at a pretty quick pace. They've been catching up to them, and they've already been putting a hamper on their progress. Wood, especially, he's got to do a 2 in between himself and Kraus. Has got a caution out on the back straightaway.
Charles, that's a big one. Charles Ante, look out. The David Adams car is going to pile in there right at the end. Is that Tanner Watkins? Yes, it is. So he had to have his car repaired.
Andrew Wood got right front damage. He's going to be out of the race.
Oh, no. There goes that wheel. Was that from debris or was that from the fence? We're going to find out here in just a minute. Well, let's first go back and find out what happened to Charles Ante and Tanner Watkins. I think what we're going to see is Tanner Watkins probably have an issue on his own at the exit of the corner. Just spins across the racetrack. Nowhere for Charles Ante to go. Wow, it looks like someone else got a piece of it too. And then David Adams trying to slow down, couldn't miss it. And Andrew Wood just got tagged there right at the end.
Yeah, Wood was going to miss it, but then that slight contact at the last second just nudged the car out and got him in the right front.
Just enough to break that right front suspension for Andrew Wood, and he's going to pull this car down, and a second place run tonight is going to end early as he pulls into the box on 3 wheels.
Another few drivers to the list of retirees.
Man, that is absolutely brutal for Andrew Wood. Philip Kraus leaves pit lane as the leader. Christopher Demerit out in 2nd.
Ooh, fuel only for him. 3.8 second stop down in pit lane. Everyone else took tires.
Wow, this race has changed significantly. We have half of the entrants running as we had at the drop of the green flag. From 17th on down, completely out of the race and damaged. Then this has been the way that these cars have been. I heard someone just blow a motor or something down there on pit lane, probably already car in the box. But we've seen so much attrition this season, and this just worries me for the longevity. The longer races required, the Indy 500 coming up on April 11th, to survive 500 miles without damage. Anytime that you have car contact, your race is going to be over. So how do you manage that in the rest of the season? It seems like the drivers that are finishing are the ones that are coming to the top of the standings, notably the 76 of Andreas Ayek.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak from experience in a series I'm running with the IndyCar, and yeah, that's kind of how I actually ended up in the points lead. I'm not trying to brag at all. I've honestly just been surviving a decent amount of the races, just let everyone else wreck, and then just hopefully find yourself making your way on through, and just by consistently getting some finishes and also having a little bit of pace, find yourself near the top of the standings. But that's, I mean, the big key. You know, sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball. You see a few drivers be the ball in this case, and there's just some wrecks you just can't avoid, and it sucks because just that little bit of damage on a stock car might be able to bang a few fenders, fix the thing up, but for an Indy car, it's retiring, pretty much a retirement immediately.
So working our way towards lap number 100 here of the 8th round of the 2021 season of the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series. You're watching Sim TV. Coming up next on Sim TV tomorrow night will be on the Winding Road Magazine, a tape delay broadcast of the 7th round of the season in the Spec MX-5 Sim Racing Challenge. That will take place from Richmond Raceway, Road Atlanta tomorrow night at the usual time. Followed up shortly thereafter by a tape delayed replay of the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series from Nashville. Tuesday, the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series will head to Talladega for a little bit of restrictor plate racing, followed up on Wednesday by the DC Region Virtual Racing League GT3 cars from Virginia International Raceway. Then Thursday, the SCARS Super Trofeo Prototype Challenge Series will head to Spa-Francorchamps, as well as the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Canada heads to Suzuka for their 4th round of the 2021 season. Philip Kraus out in front. Come to the restart here on lap number 96. 65 laps to go. And green flag back in the air.
Adam Blocker immediately losing a spot to Andreas Eick for 3rd place, and I'm not sure why he just did not get up to pace as quickly as the 76, and immediately lost his spot. And even Matt Kingsbury, he's been licking up the chops, and we were talking about him struggling this season. He's been making some really good passes and has been on a charge forward, looking at getting past Block and Eick here with the pace he has.
It's all about surviving to the end. Matt Kingsbury hasn't touched a soul, not a fly in the sky tonight. He has been squeaky clean as he rolls through turn 2. Trying to build a run here on Adam Blocker, and he's doing that right now. Kinsella, whoa, crossover here by Joe Branch and Trevor Greenfield. This is a battle for 7th that got real hot real fast.
Yeah, Greenfield trying to make it work on the bottom side. Branch getting that nice run on the top. Branch has also just been another driver lurking inside the top 10. Not making a whole lot of noise, but in a decent run.
And behind them, Kingsbury, Kinsella, Lester Rorschach, and up the road, Blocker, Kingsbury side by side for 4th.
Looks like Blocker's car is struggling just on base at the moment. Kingsbury, he's been able to make that inside lane work pretty well. Gets a really good run out of the corner.
Now down at the bottom, sticking to that yellow line, but he can't do it quite as well as Blocker was doing earlier. Door to door, I guess side pod to side pod as they come up on the front straightaway. 60 laps to go this time. Take a swipe. Whoa, bobble for Blocker. Big slide in turn 2, and Kingsbury goes by, and Riley Thompson will launch an attack now.
Yeah, Adam, that car has got some handling issues. Not sure if he's made a wrong adjustment or something's just funny with the way it's handling, but he was looking a lot more comfortable earlier in the run. Now he's really having to fight the car, and he's got Riley Thompson now. Next car about to bear down on him if he keeps making mistakes.
Still loose on corner exit as Branch and Greenfield still battling for 7th behind them. Greenfield goes to the bottom of the racetrack in the Spark VR livery number 36. Branch in the Coca-Cola car stays out in front for now. Ray Kingsbury and Kinsella, this is for 9th. And laps at this point are going to tick off real fast, Finian. So if you're Demerit trying to run down Kraus, you do not have that much time left. 55 laps are going to go away in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think he's really trying. I think he is definitely trying at the moment. But again, remember, he didn't take tires, so he's going to be slower, if anything, than the 19. And it's kind of showing you he's been hovering around 2 seconds and dropping by a few hundredths of a second each lap.
So will Philip Kraus be the first repeat winner other than Christopher Demerit? Everyone else has been a unique winner this season with the exception of that 144. Bound to happen eventually, I'd think, but there's Kingsbury and Kinsella. They're still side by side at the exit of turn 2. This is for 9th. Kinsella, I think, is a little quicker. And remember, but these guys are running both very well in the point standing, so they can't afford to have a bad race at this stage. So I think they'll race each other nice and cleanly and respectfully. AJ Burton following Liam Quinn in the 44 for 12th.
Still trying to follow in pursuit for that 12th place spot. Ruff's looking to the bottom lane.
Joe Branch and Greenfield trying different lines. Both of them, Greenfield to the high side, Branch to the low side. Now they're going to try it the opposite way. Look at the run Greenfield gets out of turn 4. He's going to take it to the bottom.
throw the car in there. It looks like he should have enough room to complete, but Joe Branch going to try to do an over-under. This, I gotta say, I really like this update. It's made the racing of this track a lot, at least in the IndyCar, it's made it a lot better to watch.
Yeah, you definitely have more options to choose from. It's a matter of how do you get that momentum. I did hear that 36 just glanced the wall out of turn 4. I don't think it's going to hurt him, but he did scrape the vinyl off the right side of that Spark VR car. Look at Kingsbury and Kinsella still scrapping for 9th.
Yeah, he did have some sparks fly off the Sparks VR car. You see Kinsella throw it up the inside of Kingsbury. And Kingsbury, you're talking about, what's that?
I was saying booty or joke.
And I was talking about Kraus, you know, if he's got a chance of winning the race. I mean, his biggest competitor is really, into this race where Ray Kingsbury, who's struggling at the moment ever since he hit the wall, got some decent damage, and the car's never been the same since. And now Blocker handling a diva of a car back in 5th.
A diva of a car. Here's Kinsella. And still working over Ray Kingsbury, and Lester Rorschach sitting behind him. He would love to get by, but he can't. Whole premise of racing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see, if you get on past, it'll be the second top 10 of the season. His last being last week at Chicagoland.
Ray Kingsbury doing a cracking job defending. That was a little tight between Aaron and Dan. I think that's AJ on the outside in the 15.
AJ still ripping that top lane, so working for him at the moment will continue on.
Hey, Trevor Greenfield gotten around Joe Branch and made it stick. Branch hasn't been able to completely respond here. He's trying to launch an attack. We go back up the road to Blocker and Ike.
Yeah, these guys have been battling. This is the 3rd time that Blocker has been trying to get past Ike. He got past the 2nd time. Let's see if he can make it past the 3rd time as well. Looks like he may have sorted the car out a little bit.
Blocker throwing it down to the bottom, and he's sticking much better to the yellow line like he was earlier in the night. Might have made a change inside the car that allowed him to do that as we close in on 40 laps to go.
Yeah, also remember too, these guys have been getting longer green flag runs in, so more rubber's been put down on that inside lane where Blocker's been running. So I think that, again, that's kind of adding to his handling issues that looks like the car is handling a lot better now. But through a few adjustments its way and is now looking to get past Ike. Ike's still fighting on the top side.
I think Ike would gladly take a top 5 run tonight. That should keep him out in front of the points situation. Unfortunately, Philip Kraus comes into the night in such a good spot that I think the points would flip in his favor. No, not quite. He's back 27 from the points lead. It's Kinsella that's P2, so Ike would likely hold on to the points lead leaving the night. But Blocker trying to put that 76 car down one more spot, and he will now at a turn 4.
Finally get it done is 6.7 seconds back from the lead and just over 2 seconds back from Matt Kingsbury up the road.
Speaking of Brother Ray, slinging around the outside of Kingsbury, or excuse me, Kinsella. Whoa, that was almost a touch there. Kinsella almost did have him cleared, but couldn't keep the overlap, and now Kingsbury clears the 14 car back.
Yeah, Kinsella trying to get a little bit of some side draft down. Into turn 1, we'll be able to put a wing down there in turns 1 and 2.
Here comes Lester in the 51, right to the rear tailpipes of the 14 car, but nowhere really to go just yet.
The thing is, Philip Kraus is not too far behind these guys. He's just coming out of 4 now, so only a straightaway behind.
They're fighting pretty hard, so could that bring Demerit right back into the mix? Bobble by the 14 car.
Yeah, actually, I would say Demerit's actually already kind of come back into the mix. Kraus has not been able to work through the lap car as quickly as I think he would have liked. The gap was about 2 seconds, I think, before they started to get some traffic, and now it's down to just about 0.8 of a second and dropping.
Philip Kraus trying to run away from that 144. He gained a little bit of ground that time by as lap cars dealt with a little bit of traffic. AJ Burton, I believe, the one that just went a lap down. Here goes Kraus by the 44 to Liam Quinn, lapping 12th place on the track.
Laps ticking off really quickly here. 35 laps left to go.
About 10 minutes of racing. Here's the 14 back on the rear wing of the 25. And with the race leader only a couple seconds behind them, they better get this sorted out quick for Philip Kraus's sake. Otherwise, Demerit might be able to run him back down. I will say, though, that Kraus in clean air is beginning to edge out that lead again. 1.1 now over Demerit.
Yeah, thing is, though, he's approaching this battle quick. I don't know how on earth he's going to work past these guys, because I don't think they're going to, all three of them are going to be willing to just pull over for the leader.
Nope.
They're all going to want to continue battling. So for Kraus, I don't know what you do in this situation.
You don't really have the option of patience, do you? So you're going to have to be a little rude, perhaps, but it's not like a stock car where you can just knock people out of the way. If you do that, you'll end up ruining your own day. So there's got to be a process involved, and Kraus is coming, and I think Demerit might smell the blood in the water, or at least see the fish.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting because, you know, this could work out for Demerit. This will also not work out for him as well. It's going to be really interesting to see these guys all be held up, and if they're held up for too long, you could see even Matt Kingsbury get pulled into this battle as well.
Well, I think that Demerit is hoping that they continue this battle and continue it even with the 14, or the, I should say, the 140, excuse me, the 19 car still around them. The danger, I think, for Demerit is if, you know, somehow the 19 car squeezes through, then they continue to battle in front of the 144. That's as much of a battle to deal with as it is for the race leader. So Philip Kraus now to the back of Ray Kingsbury as the 144 is through the 51 of the backdrop. And Kraus is by 2 of the 3.
Yeah, Kingsbury actually waited him on by, and even in Rorschach too, we didn't mention he also let the leaders on by. So it actually looks like the lap cars are cooperating, so that's always nice to see.
Well, it's nice to see for the 19. It's not going to help the 144 that much, though. He needed them to stack up just a bit more. I don't really know how you're going to pass the 19 in a different lane. I mean, he's been rock solid. He's led the most laps here tonight now by far.
And he gets the tire advantage as well.
Right, so I think there's not a lot in the way of the 19 car winning this race and being the first repeat winner of the season. Sans the 144 Demerit.
Whoa! Just saw a Demerit car step out from under him. Kingsbury's actually going to work past him.
Yeah, that's nail in the coffin, I think.
Oh, it's a caution right up ahead.
Wow, right in the middle. It's Greenfield and Branch. Ooh. Now that's going to change the face of this race, that's for sure.
Yep, but I think Demerit is going to get a sigh of relief because everyone's going to be coming back down pit road for tires.
And Greenfield and Branch, they had been battling a lot earlier. Greenfield had gotten by. Oh, he just gets loose, and then they're going to run into the back of each other. Man.
Yeah, that was a great save that he pulled off, but unfortunately it was so quick that Branch couldn't react to it in time.
The car is splitting the difference there. Oh. Oh, man.
Oh, wow. Demerit just faked Philip Kraus down a pit lane. He stayed out.
Okay, so this goes directly back to the situation we saw earlier in the night. He's got 43 laps, or at least on this stint. But, oh man, what does this mean, though?
Oh, I don't know, because every other car came down a pit lane. We did see this car do pretty well on older tires. It was only, I think, around 20 lap old tires. Now it's just looking at 40, just about 40 lap old tires. Oh, actually even longer.
Right, because
he didn't take them. Yeah, so, ooh. This will definitely be interesting. I think we can confirm that.
Oh, man. I think this is why Demerit, I think, tried this earlier in the night, though, is just to get a gauge on what it would take to win this race on older tires. And I think he found out that you could do it. I'm not sure that this differential plays in his favor, though. He's going to have to get a restart. He might be banking on getting a few more cautions at the end of this race and eating away those laps, because it's hard for anybody to get a run on a restart lap. So as long as they keep wadding up, this 144 is in good hands. As soon as they stop crashing, that 19 car and the 21 behind him are probably in the catbird seat.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is what I was talking about earlier in the race. He's actually burning fuel right now, just flooring in first gear. But this is exactly how I won a race, I think about a year or so ago at this track with the IndyCar. Just stayed out, let everyone else pit, and no one else is able to pass me. Problem is, it's a lot easier to pass than it used to be. And also, just the amount of laps he's had on his tires is a bit concerning. But we did see when that car was out in front for as little as it was, I think only 20-30 laps, that car was pretty quick. So, it's going to be... I think what we're confirming is that this race is definitely not over yet.
It's far from over. Demerit, Kraus, Kingsbury, Blocker, and Ike are your top 5. Then it's Thompson, Kinsella, Kingsbury, Quinn, and Burton, the rest of your top 10. And a lot of drivers burning off excess fuel at this point, trying to decrease the weight of their car for the end. Now we wait for the restart. Now, Ray Kingsbury is going to get the wave around here, or is he not?
Yeah, he will. When we get the one to go, he'll be able to fly around the pace car.
So he's down in 8th. Didn't quite get the luck of the draw here when it came to this caution. So he should get the wave this time by. And here he is gearing up for it. He'll drive around the pace car, or through it rather.
The sedan.
Yes, the 20XX make and model. All right, pick me a driver. Does Demerit win this race? Does Kraus win this race? Or does somebody else sneak up there and get the checkered?
I think I'm going to go with Demerit. I feel like he's been pretty confident with his calls, and to be honest, most of his calls have pretty much worked. I would say pretty much all the calls he's made when it's come to these cautions have worked. I don't see why this last one doesn't work out.
Pace car pulls off. Demerit and Kraus in command of the race. Just over 20 laps to go. A great restart. Demerit's off. Not a lot of cars out there, though, so a chance for a caution flag is not super high.
No, he got about 14 guys ripping around the track, and of those, only 8 on the lead lap. Philip Kraus, so trying to get a nice run off of turn 4. He's trying to use the draft, catch back up, and potentially make a pass here. Definitely not going to be easy, though.
Oh, big moment out of turn 2. Almost caught the fence. Going to go the long way around. I don't think Demerit's going to have anything to hold him off if this race goes green to the end. 20 laps to go. Here he comes.
Here comes Kraus, yep, looking to the inside here, side by side into turn 1, and Demerit, he's going to pull off.
Now in the slipstream of the 19, there's just nothing he'll be able to do to respond. I'm just not sure about that strategy call. Here comes Matt Kingsbury in the 21 through 18 laps to go.
He's going to have to just hang on here, running the top lane here. Got a battle with Matt Kingsbury. Kingsbury going to get on clear, and potentially has a shot at catching back up to Kraus.
Adam Blocker, Andreas Ike, 4th and 5th. They'd like to take a bite out of the sandwich as well. Whoa, spin, slide. Wow, the 21 car almost wadded up his car. He's going to drop a few spots. I cannot believe that wasn't a crash. Watch this.
That car got out a lot in turn 1.
Wow. Gathered it back up, falls to 5th. Here's Blocker and Ike fighting for, conveniently, 3rd. If I was a betting man, I'd put my money on the 76 finishing there.
Should start doing a bet. Where's the?
There are bets. You can play it on the forums every week.
Odds of Andreas Ike finishing in 3rd. He's currently in 4th at the moment. Matt Kingsbury kissed the ball a little bit when he saved the car, but doesn't look like he's expecting too much. He's trying to work back on Ike for 4th place.
15 laps left. Philip Kraus out in front. Last year's champion. He has 1 win so far this season. That win came back at Pocono on February 28th. About a month ago on the day, I believe. Liam Quinn and AJ Burton fighting for 9th. And Ike and Kingsbury for 4th.
Kingsbury going to win on this occasion. Blocker now starting to hound the back of Demerit. Can't imagine other than Demerit trying to hold on to the spot for what he can. Blocker should be able to work quite easily on the bottom. Demerit's giving a lot of room up top.
Matt Kingsbury going to respond from his slide as well. Where does he go? Trying through the middle, maybe?
I would not. I really would not try that. Oh, he's going to have a look, though. 3 wide does not work at Richmond.
He looked like he wanted to try just to prove you wrong. Here he comes out of turn 2, a big run, big head of steam, but nowhere to go with it.
Andreas Ike now looking at an opening in the top lane to try to get to the outside of Matt Kingsbury. Kingsbury looks like he's going to pull back up in behind Demerit, get a little bit of the slipstream, have a look down and turn 1 in again. Can't quite get there.
Oh, man, watching Kingsbury right behind Demerit, there was only inches to play with there. Blocker through to 2nd. Wow, big drive by Kingsbury into turn 3. He passes Demerit with a huge lunge and gets through. Now it's Ike's job to pass the 144.
Yeah, but Ike wants to stay in a battle with Kingsbury and Blocker. He's got to get past quickly.
10 laps to go on the timing and scoring.
It hasn't quite looked like Ike's had the car to really get a lot of passes done. Again, with Demerit's struggling with older tires here, we'll see if he can make quick work of him. He's going to get really close to the rear wing.
I'm not sure that Ike's got the pace to do it. The guy who has the pace to do it right now is Philip Kraus, out in front by 4.1 seconds. If we stay green to the end, there's almost nothing that can take this away from the 19 car. He get his second win of the season.
Yeah, I think for Kraus, he's just looking at about 5 laps to go. After that, if caution comes out, he can take a sigh of relief. But right now, he's still under threat, especially with Blocker and Matt Kingsbury in second and third and behind.
Whoa, crash! Demerit!
No, it's Demerit!
We stay green. He's below the yellow line. He's going to limp it back to the pits. But Demerit's good night goes south fast.
Whew, that was commentator's Chris, if I've ever seen it.
Oh, man, big hit for Demerit. And luckily, with all the calamity we've had tonight, he's not going to tumble that far down the order, probably down to about 14th spot, but just gets loose. There wasn't contact there, was there?
No, I don't think so.
No, it just gets loose.
No, it just got loose. I mean, that's not surprising. Again, was on fairly old tires at this point, was just pushing them a little bit too hard. And into the pits he will go.
Meanwhile, Adam Blocker has started to eat into the lead of Philip Kraus, but he just needed more time, and he's just not going to get it. If the caution comes out now, the race is over. Kraus, with 3 laps to go. His last win came at Pocono Raceway a month ago. Comes into the night. 4th in the point standings, dropped 2 positions in the points after a 24th at Chicagoland. And his last finish inside the top 10 was his win at Pocono. 2 laps to go now.
Yeah, Matt, at this point, it's a matter of bringing the car home in one piece. Did a fantastic job up near the front of the field. He's been there all day. I don't think I've seen a single time he was outside of the top 5 tonight.
Well, Philip Kraus is going to pick up the white flag with a new team and new colors. 1 lap to go. He has been dominant tonight. He has led almost 100 of the 160 laps. And nobody, no caution, no restart, no driver could take it away from Philip Kraus. He's going to get his second win on the season for his number 19 this year. And Philip Kraus goes to victory lane at Richmond. Blocker second, Kingsbury third, Ike, Kinsella the rest of the grid. Fireworks on the racetrack for sure, but also in the air. And Philip Kraus victorious for the 2nd time this season. What a drive. And you just have to go back and wonder, Fanina, why Demerit and crew chief Lichtenberg made that call to stay out on the racetrack. Things might have been much different.
Yeah, I think maybe just felt overconfident in the way the car was going to handle and just didn't have enough pace. Because, I mean, you thought about it, you know, had a chance of just being stuck back in second at the very least, you know, finishing there, maybe third. But, you know, hindsight's always 20/20. Fortunately for him, he's going to have to settle for 14th tonight.
Philip Kraus led 96 laps en route to his 2nd win of the season. Here's a look at the race results. Top of the board, Philip Kraus, 3.5 seconds back. Adam Blocker, after his win at Detroit, comes home 2nd this week as well. Matt Kingsbury, good run for him. His first top 5 of the year. Comes home in P3. Andreas Ike isn't a 3rd, but it is a cursed 4th tonight for the 76. Kinsella in 5th. Then Thompson, Kingsbury, Burton, Quinn, and Aaron Roofs in the 26, running out the rest of the top 10. A high attrition race. What we expected to see for sure, but Philip Kraus put on a show there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely did. And for Demerit, you can see the first driver of the retirements, and then you head on down how many good drivers we lost. Andrew Wood in 17th. I'm sure he's shaking his head at what could have been. Unfortunately, was caught up in that incident. Looking even further, the next stage, I think you're going to see even more drivers that had a decent shot of the race, but just couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah, a lot of cars with crash damage, all the way back to Dakota DiCienzo and Eric Gonzalez, who finished at the bottom of the order, 159 laps down. Well, we've got Matt Kingsbury here. He finished in 3rd place tonight. And a really strong run for you, Matt. It's been a troublesome season, but finally going in the right direction. Take us through your run there. Would you have had anything for those front 2 with a later restart and some fresh tires?
You know, we were on the same tires as Phil, so I think whoever got the clean out of first was going to win the race no matter what. I tried to crank the weight jacker up to get him, and it broke loose. So, you know, nothing really for the win, but, you know, I was really happy with the car.
Well, so far it's been a tricky season, and especially attrition has been really high this year. Coming into the night, how worried were you just about getting tangled up in a crash, and what were some of the methods used to avoid it? Again, you started pretty deep in the field, so kind of carving your way through it. You stayed out of all the trouble tonight.
Yeah, we messed up qualifying, but yeah, we employed the same strategy we did at Phoenix, and it really worked well at Phoenix. Obviously, we climbed, I think it was top 10 before we got hit. But here it's a little different. A little more spread out. Cars are running a lot slower. So we were able to run different lines, and I think that's really what helped us out. And we also I went off strategy. And I put up new tires, and that was when I drove and got up to like 10th. I think that was the big reason I survived.
Well, a strong run and a third place. Best finish of the year for you, Matt. We've got the Indy 500 coming up in 2 weeks' time. How do you feel about Indianapolis? Do you think you can go out there and get yourself a victory?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been pretty strong. I don't qualify great at Indianapolis, but our package overall has been improving race by race. And obviously, I think we showed that in, I think it was Texas and in Kentucky, we were pretty solid. You know, we weren't great, but we had top 5 cars before we got wrecked. So I was feeling pretty happy about them, and you know, we're working really well together as a team. So I think we got a shot. You know, last year we were okay there for the 500. And then when it rolled around to the official series, we had something really good in race trim.
Well, a strong night, Matt. Congratulations. We'll see you at Indianapolis. Best of luck to you and your team there. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Second place tonight was Adam Blocker, coming off a win at Detroit a few weeks ago, and the season is picking up. Adam, welcome back to the SimTV booth. Second place tonight, 3.8 back from Philip Kraus. What'd you need to go up there and run him down?
I don't think it was really possible with the setup we had, to be honest. Yeah, I think we probably had the 3rd or 4th best setup, but yeah, just executed really well, or not really well, but well enough. Qualified decent, 6th place. Kind of made up a couple of positions at the start, but really it was around 5th the whole race, and then just kind of inherited a few positions. I think Ray hit the wall and got some side pod damage. I passed Chris at the end on pit strategy. I was faster than Andreas. I passed him a couple times, although we had some really good battles, and yeah, there's also some good battles with Matt there as well. But yeah, it really just kind of was in the right place at the right time, took advantage of the opportunities. Really only made one mistake, had a huge slide on the entry to 1, and I don't know how I didn't crash really. But
well, and we've also got Indianapolis coming up here in a couple weeks. That's got to be occupying yours and your team's mind. How do you feel about your Indianapolis setup car, and do you think you can go out there and win that as well?
I expect, you know, we should have a good race car. We normally do there at Indy, but yeah, really just kind of focusing on qualifying the next week or so, and because qualifying's like the week before, so trying to work on qualifying, and then the race. You know, everything we do now is just going to be more preparation for the big event in May. So yeah, I mean, I'm always confident at Indy in the race, but I would like to ideally start a little closer to the front, because I do think it's going to be hard to pass there, especially if it's hot or anything. So yeah.
Adam, congratulations on a 2nd place. We'll see you at Indy in a couple weeks. Thanks for chatting with us.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll move on now to our race winner, the only other winner to have multiple wins this season besides Chris Demerit is now Philip Kraus. Last season's champion. Philip, welcome back to victory lane at Pocono a month ago, and now at Richmond. This one tonight you had to work for. You did pretty much dominate and strive way at the end there, though. Take me through. There were some tense moments there towards the end, getting through some lap traffic. Take us through your 2nd win of the season.
It was a scary race, to say the least, because we set up our car super loose for this. So like the first 8 to 10 laps of a run, it was real scary. I'll say that, because you were basically, the car was turning for you on the turn, and it was really mad. And I know I was taking it real easy on the starts, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people were as well. But man, if it didn't scare me, oh my god. But once we got like 5-10 laps under the tires, it started to equal out, and Chris was definitely the car to beat today. But he usually found himself in traffic, so he had to do those alternate strategies. He got it to work the first time, but not so much the second, which I guess is good for me, right?
It certainly is. You're in a great spot. You gained a position in the standings. You're only 5 back from points leader Andreas Eich, and 3 back from Adam Blocker heading into Indianapolis in 2 weeks' time. That's a big one coming up on the schedule. How do you feel about that race, and do you think you can go out there and win?
Well, I'm hoping to not like ARCA break Tony Kanaan this time. That's the main goal. But I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously with the new team, I'm looking forward to it because I've struggled at Indy myself, and I know these guys are really good at it. So hopefully we can get a good package together and have a really good run.
Philip, congratulations. Win 2 of the season. More to come, most likely. Congratulations. We'll see you at Indy in a couple weeks.
Yeah, thank you.
We've also got Chris DeMerit here with us tonight. Chris, tonight you ended up finishing this race down the order just a little bit in 14th, but you did gain a spot in the standings, which goes to show the kind of the yin and yang year that you've had. 3 wins in the first 4 races, and then a string of poor finishes, highlighted tonight by a strong run towards the front, but then you drop back with the crash there at the end. Take us through your night and the strategy calls there towards the end.
Yeah, qualifying didn't go great. I mean, for the lap that I put down, I'm still kind of surprised. I finished qualified P2 there. I think I had enough to maybe challenge Kraus for pole, and I think that I would have done a lot different for the entire race. But I knew it was so hard to pass. And then I had a huge moment on like lap 2 and fell back down to 6. I was kind of really behind at that point and kind of just got stuck, got freight train, got back to P8. And I was just kind of looking for any alternative strategy I could to end up cycling to the front. It worked out that one time when I didn't pit and the tires were new enough that I could run away. And then there was actually a point where Andrew and I were fuel saving really hard, and it would have been interesting if we went that long. I think it was like 90 laps to the end. And I think the leader, you lose like 2 laps if you pit, and I think it would have been really close, and it would have been pretty risky to save that hard, but I figured I wanted to go for it. And then, yeah, I didn't take tires at the end. We did a lot more laps on them than I thought, so they were really worn out, and it was just pushing too hard at the end. But I don't have any major regrets. It was just kind of putting myself on the back foot and trying to recover. So I still drove really well, I think. Well, except for a few moments, but overall I drove pretty well.
Well, Chris, 14th tonight, still gaining a spot in the standings. We'll see you at Indianapolis. Thanks for chatting.
Thanks, see ya.
Finian, final thoughts. Richmond Raceway, a calamitous evening, one we expected perhaps, but still a rock-solid race, and now our second multi-time winner this season. Your thoughts?
Yeah, really solid race by Philip Kraus, keeping the car up there, and then unfortunately for DeMerit, just didn't quite make the right calls to get. Well, he made some good calls early on, but at the end, that last one just wasn't the right one to get himself up in a position to get the race win. But still, it was a really awesome fight between them. Both races trying different strategies, trying to make every which way, anything that they could work to get themselves up in the front.
Indianapolis in 2 weeks' time here on Sim TV for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you for the full-length Indianapolis 500 on April 11th.